All right, fellas, we are live. Week 2, as I talked about throughout the week. For some reason, I'm more excited for this week than I was for last week. I think it's because we got a little taste of it. We got, a little bit of information. We got to, formulate our opinions and change some
Yeah.
opinions and, take our stances and that kind of thing. So this week, I'm just like really looking forward to, people not saying, oh, it's only week 1, don't overreact anymore. Now we got 2 weeks of data. So it's going to be really fun this week. I got a couple big matchups. I'm already in the hole in my home league because I faced the Justin
Classic.
Jefferson, Kirk Cousins stack, which is not ideal, but we're rolling on. And I have officially made the decision. I don't know if I told you this already, but I am starting both AJ Dillon and Josh Kelly over Breece Hall. I'm not
I have it
messing with your
ranked that way.
boys' defense right now. I'm gonna play the workload plays with those other two guys.
I have it ranked that way. I have Breece Hall, I believe, as my RB 21 on the week. Josh Kelly at 19, and then AJ Dillon's way higher. AJ Dillon's at top 15, and I mean, you'll hear more about AJ Dillon later on in the live stream. But yeah, we love our AJ Dillon this week in the matchup without Aaron Jones, without Christian Watson. We expect against that Atlanta Falcons team. It's already going to be a slow-paced environment given the fact that the Falcons are going to be involved in the game, and now the Packers, without arguably their two best weapons with Watson and Aaron Jones, got to take the ball out of Jordan Love's hands. You got to let the ground game be able to control that.
Yeah, I'm glad I got a bet in on the Falcons when it was they were only -1. I think the line since moved to -3 or -2.5 maybe. So I like that. Also, for what it's worth too, I wanted to break down when we go through our going nuts picks and our underdog picks. I think for ease sake, to make sure we're not jumping all over the place, when one of us does one of them, well, the other person just kind of talks about theirs as well. If that's cool with you, we can if you talk about your lock, I'll just talk about my lock, just so we get them kind of out of the way and we're not jumping all over the place.
Yeah, sounds good. Because I know, like last week, I'm pretty sure like one of them like we didn't get into, and I think somebody asked about that. And
it makes more sense if one of them comes up. We'll just kind of transition into both. So, I think we had a super right off.
We got a couple supers, so I will get right to the supers. The first one in here, appreciate that, Andrew. He says full PPR: Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert, Rashad Bateman, or Rashid Shaheed. I'm going with the workload here. I'm going with Brian Robinson. Khalil Herbert, yes, like he does get an uptick based on the fact that Deontay Foreman is a healthy scratch in this game. However, I do think that more so means that Roschon Johnson's going to get worked into the mix. So it's probably going to be like maybe a 60-40 type of split between Herbert and Roschon this week. And with Brian Robinson, I honestly trust his workload over Antonio Gibson than I do Khalil Herbert's over Roschon right now.
No, I do as well. And I'm so glad I tweeted it out earlier today. I'm like, feels good. 16% Roschon Johnson and Best Ball Mania 4. The stance I took on this backfield was I'm just going to take the cheapest option. And especially when I believe the cheapest option, Roschon Johnson, was the most talented back in the backfield. I guess Foreman technically was a little cheaper, but I really thought we would get a lot of good things out of Roschon Johnson. He was also my number 2 sleeper heading into the season. So I'm very excited for him, knowing that he already had a big spike week from a best balls perspective in week 1. I think that's only going to continue as the season goes along. I would not be shocked if he's like the number 1 waiver ad this week after what happens.
Roschon. Oh, I agree. I mean, he's going to be owned in the majority of like the more sharper leagues. But if you guys are in your home league and Roschon Johnson is available right now and you can pick him up before kickoff, stash him on your bench and just see what he does, do it. Because if at all he has 12 to 15 opportunities in this game and looks good, guess what? He's going to be the number 1 claim, like Bush said. So we can go on to the next super chat here. And I believe our Gravy is the next one. Yes. So to answer your question, by the way, though, Andrew, we both say Brian Robinson. Our Gravy says Breece Hall or Javonte and a half PPR. I actually have Javonte Williams ranked higher.
I do as well.
Too? Okay.
Yeah, I had Hall 1 spot ahead for a while, but now the more I kind of think about it, the under is getting a shit ton of steam in that Jets Cowboys game. The implied point total is really low for the Jets. As good as Breece Hall is, he's still probably going to have like a 45 to 50% snap share at most, I would imagine. And Dalvin Cook's going to be involved, and we don't really trust Zach Wilson at this point in time. So I would go Javonte Williams there.
I mean, real quick, I hate to do this right now, but you mentioned that the under's getting a ton of steam on that Cowboys-Jets game, and that's my lock of the week. Under 97% of the sharp money is going with that Jets-Cowboys game. I expect it to be low scoring. The Jets, honestly, like it's going to be tough for them to score more than 13, 14 points in this game. And I do think that the Cowboys are going to follow the same recipe from last week. You're going to trust your defense. You're going to trust your run game. You're not really going to be opposed too much from Zach Wilson from the threat on the other side. That I do think that the under is the best play here. The Cowboys spread is also pretty enticing for me, but we are seeing a lot of steam going the Jets' way. The spread dropped from 9.5 to 8.5. So if I have to, I'd rather just avoid that and play the under because I think the under is more of a lock than the spread.
No, I agree. I think the Jets are actually a decent decent bet, I think, if you're going to get them at, 8.5, 9 points or whatever, because I expect a low scoring game regardless. And in low scoring games, the process play is usually to lean towards the underdog, especially when the spread's that wide. I can transition
Just go
quickly into my
yours.
lock of the week as
Yep.
well. Mine's actually an over this week. So neither of us go with a spread on our over under. I have the Seahawks in the Lions game, the 47-point over under. We
Love
saw
that.
this game absolutely flame last year. It was like a 40-37 or something like that. I think both the Seahawks defense and the Lions defense are prone to big plays, and I think both of their offenses can deliver those big plays. And I also love both, like all of the running backs in this game too. I think Kenneth Walker can do some damage against the Lions. I think that Gibbs and Montgomery will do some damage against the Seahawks. So 47 points to me is really shocking that it's that low. I really expected that game to be a 50 to 52 point over under.
Yeah, no, I agree there. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure, was it not Seahawks Lions the year that Liam won the Best Ball Mania? Because he had this
It
the
was.
mini between Rashad Penny and Amon St. Brown.
So the last two times that these teams have played each other, it's been a barn burner. It's been high
Ballistic.
scoring games, and like Geno, this was like the Geno game, I think, last year. Where we were like, okay, is Geno Smith for real? Like, I think this guy literally just had a monster performance against the Lions. So yeah, I'm anybody that you guys have in that game, Seattle or Detroit, like fire up your Jahmyr Gibbs, fire up your David Montgomery, your Kenneth
Sam
Walker,
Laporta.
your Metcalf. Obviously, you're going to be starting St. Brown, but fire up your
Sam Laporta.
your Tyler Lockett and your Jackson Smith and Jigba if you need a flex option as well.
And I said Sam Laporta, but yeah, Sam Laporta
Yeah,
as
Sam
well.
Laporta too at tight end, also a good start. So yeah, those are our locks of the week. We got the Seahawks over under 47 points, and then Danny had the under of 38.5, at least is what we have it listed as here for New York Jets and Dallas Cowboys. Both of the sharps, by the way, on those picks. I think the sharps on the Seahawks game, there's 77% of the cash on the over right now. And then on the Jets game, 97% of the cash is on the under right now. So yeah, we're kind of just tailing the sharps with those picks, but I really like them. I think it makes sense.
Good process plays in my opinion. But to answer the second part of the question, because I don't think we got into it, I in a half PPR I would go with Raheem Mostert. You got that matchup on Sunday Night Football. Devon Achane should probably be active in this game, given the fact that I believe who was the other running back that got banged up in that backfield. Jeff Wilson's obviously going to be out, but basically when Mike McDaniel was asked about it, he said, like, I don't know when Devon Achane's going to be fully active. I don't know when he's going to be a big contributor to the backfield. And all that tells me is that he's going to rely upon the vet in week 2. Obviously, a high pressure environment playing on the road against the New England Patriots. I do think that Raheem Mostert is going to be the play here, given the touch basis I expect. And I mean, I hate to just go right into the other segment, but speaking of the New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins Sunday Night Football game, we go on to my underdog pick of the week. And my underdog pick of the week is I'm taking the New England Patriots at home against the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, the talk of the town, Miami, great performance in week 1, great game environment with that Chargers-Dolphins game. Obviously, Tua looked great. Those weapons look great. But what New England does best is take away your best weapon. And although I think Tyreek Hill may be the one player in the NFL you can't take away, I trust Bill Belichick to be able to exec that game plan against the Miami Dolphins. He's seen the tape from last year. He knows what works against Tua, what works against Mike McDaniel. And if any defensive mind's going to be able to stifle that offense at home, I think it's going to be New England. New England showed last week that they were able to hang tough with a Philly team that really blew open the doors in the second half of that Vikings game. I do think that this week that New England could potentially get to 1-1, and hence that 2.5 spread, I'm just going to eat it overall, and I'm going to say that New England wins straight up.
Yeah, the game plan from the Dolphins is probably going to have to be, the Patriots are going to take away all the deep shots. That's probably what they're going to want to do. And for that reason, I think that Devon Achane, if he's available in your league right now, like he could be the pass catching back in this game plan, because Raheem Mostert's not really, even though he's fast and he kind of looks like a scat back, he's not really the type of guy that's going to get out on the edge and do a lot of damage through the air. Devon Achane right now, I'm looking, his ownership percentage only 57% on sleeper leagues right now. So if he's available in your league, definitely go check that out. You said you're taking the Patriots money line in that game. They're 2.5-point dogs. I'm going to be taking my underdog pick of the week in this one is going against my own favorite team. So I think the Bucs are the better team as opposed to the Bears. They're at home, but the Bucs traditionally actually do not play well at home. So the home field advantage a little overrated for them, in my opinion. And also, I think the Bears match up well against us. Knowing that Carlton Davis is out for this game, DJ Moore, honestly, when Carlton Davis plays, usually plays well against us. DJ Moore typically does well against the Buccaneers secondary. For whatever reason, we can't tackle the guy. And then also, too, our run defense was stout Last week, it was really strong against the Vikings ground game, but I think the Bears present a lot more of a threat, knowing that they can get their backs out in space. And of course, Justin Fields himself is going to run the ball. I think if Devin White plays the way he played in week one, he might legitimately win Defensive Player of the Year. That's the best game I've ever seen him play in his career. I'm a little skeptical that that's going to keep up week over week. And if he doesn't play that well, then it's going to be a problem through the air and on the ground. I like the way that the Bears matchup on offense go against our defense. And also, I mean, it's still Baker Mayfield. Like, we have a chance of, really dropping 10 points against the Bears secondary, even though the Bears defense is bad. I wouldn't be shocked if this game was a low scoring game and the Bears just kind of make more plays than we do.
Yeah, I don't mind that call. I think that's genuinely a 50-50 game. So the fact that it's a 2.5 point spread, like, you may as well just take the team that could pose a lot of problems, especially if they get that ground game going. And yeah, you know what? Kudos to Devin White. I'm glad he's playing better. However, I will say that the Defensive Player of the Year lies in 11 and blue, to be honest. But
probably, but like that's
I'm
clearly the best game I've ever seen him play. Like, it wasn't even remotely close. He was all over the field making tackles, actually covering people, which is something that's been a problem for him as well.
I was just razzing you, don't worry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I hated when I saw the stuff that was like Micah Parsons is what we all wanted Devin White to be. It was just so factual. I was like, I hate this. Like, this is so correct. It's not even funny. Because that's what Devin White was supposed to be, was what Micah Parsons has become, unfortunately. And I think, honestly, they should use him the way that Micah Parsons is used, because I think he's actually the best skill set Devin White has is his ability to rush the passer, even though he's an inside linebacker.
It was so funny because I remember when the Cowboys picked Micah, like, we were on the stream and everything. And when we made the pick, you're just like, congratulations, Danny. You just got a worse version of Devin White. Be happy.
Yeah. That was an incorrect statement. Very incorrect. So yeah, that was.
To be fair, I was off the pick too. I thought they would play him at linebacker. I didn't think he would remotely be as good of an edge rusher as he is. So I ate crow on that, and I'm happy to eat crow considering the fact that now I get the best defensive player, arguably, of. I mean, I think in like 5 years we could look at him as the best player, defensive player of the generation. Like, what he's able to do athletically, how he impacts the game in every single facet he does. Like, he can stand up, he can blitz through the middle, you can use him on the edge, you can spread him out wide. Like, he is, I think, the most versatile defensive player in the league.
Yeah, probably is. You're probably right about that. So let's get back to the supers here. We'll get back to some questions. Bonk says pick one wide receiver and one running back. So it looks like he needs two here: Michael Thomas, Dobbs, Kelly, and Brees. So for me,
wide receiver.
Yeah, so you need one wide receiver as well. I think I'm going Michael Thomas with the wide receiver, and then I'll go Josh Kelly with the running back there.
Same page. Spatty, appreciate that. He says full PPR start one: Drake London, Elijah Moore, JSN, or Quentin Johnson. I'm actually leaning Elijah Moore here. I rose him a little bit in my rankings. Obviously, Amari Cooper, big news is that he's questionable for that Monday Night Football game.
He's unlikely to play is the most unlikely. So it looks like he's probably going to be out for this game.
Yeah, so that's a big-time uptick for Elijah Moore. I think you can consider him at least a top 30 wide receiver, fringe top 25 level start this week. If Amari Cooper's out, I mean, we already saw the usage uptick quite a lot in this past game in week 1. 7 targets, I think, from Elijah Moore, ran 80+% of the routes, commanded more targets than Amari Cooper did. That I wouldn't be shocked if this is the Elijah Moore show on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely the process play. If you guys are in need of a high ceiling performance, I think JSN presents a really high ceiling given the game environment in that game. The Browns and Steelers game, low over under. I think it's like 38.5. The Sharps are taking the under right now. So it's not a great game environment, especially without Amari Cooper out there. We don't exactly know how Deshaun Watson's going to play. So I probably, if you are like an underdog this week and you're like projected to lose by like 10 points or something, I wouldn't mind going Jackson Smith and Jigba in that decision, but he is riskier knowing that he's only running about 65% of the Seahawks routes, whereas Elijah Moore running the most routes, even when Cooper was out there, and getting the most targets. So he's definitely the process play, but JSN, if you're down, maybe you played against Kirk Cousins or DeAndre Swift already or something like that, I wouldn't mind going JSN too.
I dig that. Johnny Donuts, appreciate the super chat. He says half PPR, D-Hop, Mike Williams, AJ Dillon, Algier, Kelly. Need one for a flex and note. He already has Bijan and Pollard starting. So first of all, being in a great position there with Bijan and Pollard, both guys I have ranked inside my top 5 this week. So well done there. In terms of the other question, this is close. Oh, no, you have AJ Dillon. I would go with AJ Dillon, especially in a half PPR.
Yeah, Mike Williams would be relatively close for me there as well, just because I think he has a great matchup, but I think I lean with the guaranteed touches there. It's kind of up in the air though, because you have a lot of guaranteed touches with Pollard and Bijan. You could swing for a ceiling play like Mike Williams, who could have like a long bomb touchdown or something like that. But AJ Dillon just has such a great matchup against the Falcons run defense that I want to play him there. Take the guaranteed 15 to 20 carries, probably gets an opportunity or two inside the red zone. So yeah, I'll take AJ Dillon. If you guys have questions, I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask Josh Kelly and AJ Dillon questions. If you have those guys back to both of them, I would start AJ Dillon over Kelly, and AJ Dillon ranks as a top 15 running back for me this week. So I would start AJ Dillon over Damian Pierce, over Rashad White, over Breece Hall, over Javonte Williams, over a bunch of guys like that. Over Raheem Mostert. Like, I have AJ Dillon quite high this week because I think the workload through the air has also been pretty solid when Aaron Jones has been out in past years. Last time Aaron Jones missed a game, AJ Dillon had 6 targets.
Yeah. Quickly, let me get Spicy the link because he asked for it. My apologies there, Spicy. Let's try to rip off these super chats too, so we don't fall too behind, because I know there's
also quick plug before we do that. Our weekly rankings are up to date. I've updated them since the inactives have come out. So if you guys have access to our weekly rankings and you just need a quick start set question, that's how we do our weekly rankings. We don't care about the Fantasy Pros accuracy contest. We care about how who we would start over the other person. Yeah. So that's how our rankings are done. If you want access to those, link in the description to get that. You can go to Underdog and deposit $10 to get it for free, or you can go to our site Flock Fantasy and use promo code FSE. So quick plug in case you need the weekly rankings, but we will rip through these questions as quick as we can.
Appreciate that from Alfredo. He says standard flex, Mostert, Javonte, or Kelly. My RB1 and 2 are Bijan and Kenneth. So great spot there with your RB1 and 2. My highest ranked running back out of this crew is actually Javonte Williams. Javonte,
I have Mostert one spot higher than actually. It's funny because I have these guys 18, 19, 20. I have Mostert, Kelly, and Javonte. That's the way I have them ranked right now.
Let me see how I quickly have it just for the reference. So I have Mostert at 20. I have Kelly at 18 and Javonte at 17 with David Montgomery sandwiched between them.
Really? You have Javonte that high, eh?
17. I mean, you said you had him at 19, no?
I am at 20.
Fair. Yeah, I have him at 17. I just think that he commanded 19 opportunities last week. 6 of them were targets. I do think that he already saw 62% of the rush share in week 1. I think that can get to 70, 75% this week, assuming that he shows that he could be that efficient back that he's really been anytime he's been on the field in the last 2 years. So it's funny because the workload that we saw in week 1 is basically the same workload we were paying a second round price tag for just last year. 19.
I will say in a standard league, though, the receiving work doesn't matter as much, and that game environment is not going to be very conducive to scoring. And I think the Mostert's game environment will be, because it's the fastest paced game on the slate by a long shot. And the Dolphins are I think I trust them the most of the offenses because the Chargers can be a little inconsistent and the Titans are a good defense. Not that the Patriots aren't, but I think the game plan, because they're going to try and take away the deep ball, try and take away Tyreek Hill, might actually be to use the running backs a little bit more. So this question sucks. I'm going to be honest, Alfredo, any one of these guys could go off. Any one of these guys could disappoint. They're all super clean, super similar projections. I just lean with Mostert because I think he has the highest possibility of scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, and that is fair, the touchdown opportunity. I will say, though, I do think that if you have to tell me who's going to get more opportunity, period, in the games, I think it would go Kelly first, but I mean, the Titans defense, I don't want to fuck with. Javonte Williams would actually be second. I think Javonte will get more work than Mostert, but like you said, if you want to go with the upside of the implied total, the Sunday night aspect, the scoring opportunity, I think Mostert's there. But for me personally, I would just lean on Javonte because I do think that Denver should have a relative bounce back based off last week.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This is a tough decision, though. These guys are all very close.
Oh, yeah. Let's smash these out. Atomic, thanks for telling me to bench Swift for most. Yeah, that is not fun.
I mean, here's the thing. If you guys bench Swift, I still think that was a decent process play. As much as Swift had a good outlook, just assuming that, he would get the full workload with Gainwell out, there was also an equally likely scenario where that Boston Scott and Rashad Penny were as involved as Swift was, where it was a 30-30-30 timeshare. So definitely unfortunate if you guys bench DeAndre Swift. But I will say he's probably going to be one of the bigger sell highs in fantasy this coming week because
for sure.
We don't know what's going to happen when Gainwell comes back. I personally think that this Philadelphia Eagles backfield was made specifically for best ball because I really do think it's going to be a hot hand approach week in and week out, and you're not going to know who to start.
Yeah, if you can get a top 15 to 18 price tag on Swift after this week, then you have to sell him. If
you can get Javonte Williams coming off of a 20 touch workload, but he just doesn't get into the end zone, doesn't really have that efficient of a game. You could probably get Javonte plus for DeAndre Swift after this week.
Yep, agreed. Next super from Dan, appreciate that. He says PPR need one flex: Nakua, Kirk, Nico Collins, or Khalil Herbert. I'm going Nico Collins easily.
Yeah, so I mean, we already have this bet down, which was we didn't actually have it listed in here. So I'll put Christian Kirk and Nico Collins. Do you remember what the other one was? It was Elijah Moore versus who? Gabe
I had
Davis, I
Elijah
think.
Moore. I had Elijah Moore. That's all I remember.
Okay, it was Gabe Davis versus Elijah Moore, I think, is what it was. And
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was PPR half. I'll just put full, just
Yeah.
in case
I
that
mean,
actually favors you. But whatever.
yeah. We need to keep better track of them too.
Yeah,
um, let me see here. Next super. So I go Nico and Corey goes Kirk. By the way, there, Dan. I'm not sure how much that helps, but hopefully that eliminates the decision from Nakua and Herbert, and you choose between those two. But yeah. Jalen, $2 super chat. Appreciate that. He says full PPR, Algier or Jamal Williams. I think I have Algier one or two spots higher. I have Algier at 28 and Jamal Williams at 31.
I have them back to back. As I have Jamal Williams at 30 and Algier at 31. So I would start Jamal
Fair.
Williams slightly. Like Jamal Williams got a really good workload in week 1, and it's
Yeah,
Jamal Williams, and the Panthers'
that's
run
the thing.
defense is pretty good. Like I don't really want to fuck with them. But I do think Jamal Williams is probably the better play for guaranteed touches, although Algier is 100% the better running back. So,
Well,
and I think it's a good game environment. The Packers are a run funnel defense, and he's probably going to get like 15 touches. So,
that's why.
full PPR, like Jamal Williams might get a little bit more receiving work too. So maybe it leans you towards that. I don't know, man. This is a tough decision. I would say if you want to play it safe, go with Jamal Williams. If you're looking for a ceiling, go with Algier.
The way I kind of see it is Algier's probably only going to get like 14 to 17 opportunities. A guy like Jamal Williams is probably going to be in the 20 to 22 range. And then I just kind of look at it like, who am I going to trust more of that? Arthur Smith with that Falcons running scheme with Algier, who I think is the more appropriate, the better player, versus Jamal Williams, who's probably going to get
He's going to get pounded up the middle by Dennis Allen.
3.6 yards per touch this week.
Yeah.
Like I just don't want that. Give me Algier. Another super chat here from Corey. Appreciate that. He says, pick 2 PPR. Do I start Mike Evans, Mike Williams, or Josh Kelly? Kyler Gordon is out, and Josh Kelly has a tough matchup. I would
still start. I still think Kelly's my number 1 here. Even though Kelly has a tough matchup, I think we're going to get a 20-touch workload out of Josh Kelly this week. I would start the 2 Chargers would be my answer to this question.
Oh, it's pick 2. Okay, yeah, I don't
pick
mind
2.
That.
Yeah, I personally would go with the 2 Chargers. Not that, like, I mean, Mike Evans has a really good outlook as well. I like that game environment to potentially shoot out. If you wanted to mix up your exposure to that game environment, you could go Mike Williams and Mike Evans, but I don't know. I think with Josh Kelly, I'm pretty comfortable starting him this week. He could definitely dud and have like a bad game or whatever, but given the workload with Austin Eckler out there or not in the game, I think we're talking about a guy that's going to have 20 touches.
Yep. No, that's fair.
And the Chargers were really good run blocking last week. So if they're going to run block like they did, they're going to be matchup proof. And Kelly's going to be efficient.
The O-line's the healthiest it's been since literally 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. And their O-line is good when healthy on paper. It just hasn't been healthy the last couple of years.
Slater was literally talked about like he was going to be one of the best tackles of the generation, and then he tore his ACL.
Slater's probably the best young left tackle in the NFL.
He's great. I mean, other than your boy, but.
Well, I mean, I guess Tristan's technically a left tackle now, so maybe Tristan Wirfs is probably the best young left tackle in the league. But
full PPR pick 2, Ridley, Allen, Gibbs, or White. What is this decision? You're telling me you're going to have to sit like Keenan Allen? You're going to have to sit Keenan Allen.
I'm sitting Gibbs over Keenan Allen.
Really? In that game environment, man?
I love the game environment. Don't get me wrong, but there is still the opportunity that, like, Montgomery siphons away some touches here. I'll take Keenan Allen in a full PPR, and obviously Ridley's the first one, I think, there too.
I would probably agree that Keenan's probably the process play over Gibbs. Like, for the record, I have Gibbs.
I have Gibbs high in my running back rankings. He's like my running back 12 this week. I'm a little nervous that he's only going to get like 14 touches, and I think that Keenan might legitimately have 11 targets or something.
You're probably right. You're probably right. So for the record, I have Keenan as my wide receiver 13 and Gibbs as my RB 13. So the process play is Keenan Allen, but man, I do not want to sit Jahmyr Gibbs in that game against the Seahawks.
I don't either.
Or your running backs, dude.
I think you got to in a full PPR. Like, I mean, Keenan Allen's gonna be locked in like 6 or 7 receptions, I think.
No, you're right. You're right. Josh, let us know who your running backs are, because like I want to get Gibbs in my lineup. Like I want to know who you're starting. Like if you're starting like ETN and like I don't know, fucking Josh Jacobs over him, okay, that's one thing. But if it's like, oh, I have Joe Mixon in, like I don't know. I technically have Joe Mixon one spot higher, so that's a bad example. But let's say you have like Damian Pearson, like give me fucking Gibbs. You know what I mean? Crescent Cannon, appreciate the super chat. He says PPR need 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, Higgins, Debo, Connor, Olave, McLaurin, Kirk. So my number 1 start here by far is going to be Olave.
This is a pretty easy decision for me. I think this is
Olave,
Higgins, Olave, and Debo.
Yeah, I agree there. Although with that being said, I like that's who I would start for the record. But we can just transition it because my safe play of the week we can get into. I'll let you put up the graphic.
Yep.
My safe play of the week presented by Aura is actually James Conner against the Giants. And it fucking pains me to say this. I do not want to speak highly of James Conner, but you're getting the solidified workload. You're getting a Giants run defense that really got exposed last week, that doesn't really have the men up front to be able to compete outside of Dexter Lawrence. And I honestly think that this Cardinals team is going to rely upon the run. James Conner played well last week. Much more tough game environment, in my opinion, facing that Washington front seven relative to what we should expect from the Giants this week. That if you had to, plug him in and say, what's his range of outcomes, I would probably say 10 to 13 PPR points.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably fair. My safe play of the week this week is AJ Dillon. I just like the workload.
Love that.
With Aaron Jones out of the game, I think the Falcons are an exposable run defense. The Carolina Panthers running backs had a little bit of trouble last week with the Falcons run D, but honestly, I don't think it's that good. I think Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard just aren't really going to get it done relative to the way that I think Dillon will in this game. And also, I think there's a legitimate chance this guy's 5 or 6 targets this week, let alone the amount of workload he's going to get on the ground and potentially in the red zone as well. And Spicy Off, for what it's worth, has Dameon Pierce as his safe play of the week because we got Dameon Pierce in a pretty good matchup in a game that I think is a winnable game for the Texans. They're at home against a division opponent, both starting rookie quarterbacks. I think we actually have a better game script environment for Pierce. And also, this is a gut feeling take. Obviously, there's nothing that I can say that actually backs this up. But for some reason, I feel like Dameon Pierce's week 1 usage was the same bullshit that happened last year in week 1 with Dameon Pierce, where we were like, why is Rex Burkhead out snapping Dameon Pierce? And then the next week, Dameon Pierce had like a full workload. So it wouldn't shock me if we saw that again. Again, I have no real basis to say that's what's going to happen. It's in my gut telling me that the preseason usage was a little closer to what we're going to see out of Dameon Pierce.
That's what I was going to say. Like, your basis is, this guy was treated like the clear starter in the preseason. That's your basis. So I don't mind that. Got next super from Alfredo. Appreciate that. He says pick one: Zay Godwin, Sky Moore, Elijah Moore standard. Aston already played for me and did well. Love that. In terms of this question, I believe I would have it ranked.
I mean, is that Flowers or Jones? First of all,
I'm assuming that's Flowers.
I would assume it's Flowers. I think I go Godwin regardless. If that's Flowers or Jones, especially knowing that you already had Addison go off. I think Godwin's the safer play, and you're in a position where you're kind of just looking for the guaranteed points there.
Yeah, no, I agree there. Bernard, appreciate that. He says going to be annoying again. LOL, Roshan or Kyron.
I'm taking Roshan.
I was just going to say
I had Kyron rated higher before, but since Foreman is inactive and Roshan's expected to get a little bit more touches than he was going to get, and I do not want to fuck with the San Francisco 49ers defense, run defense specifically, I will go Roshan over Kyron here.
Like, I technically have Kyron ranked at 33 and Roshan at 37, but
I forgot to move Roshan since the news, so I just moved Roshan up to 32.
Wow. I thought I had him high at 37. Damn. Okay. I would slightly lean Kyron because of the touches, but I'm probably going to regret that, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I'm not convinced again, like another just gut feeling take. I'm not convinced that Kyron Williams is going to 70% snap share Cam Akers again. I just don't think that's likely of happening. I think it's closer that it's going to be like a 50 time share and nobody gets anything going.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure. Where do we leave off here? Next question from Neil. Appreciate that. He says, love or Fields. I'm scared of Fields. Don't be scared of Fields. He's a top 10 quarterback with ease. And I think I have him ranked at quarterback. Where do I have him ranked this week? He's my quarterback 7 this week against the Buccaneers. So don't be scared.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be worried about Justin Fields against the Bucs defense. He's going to be able to get things going running.
20-month member, Mr. Alex McAdams. Appreciate that. He says 14-team PPR have Carr, Olave, Ayuk, McCaffrey, Stevenson, Kincaid, Flowers, London, McLaurin, Williams, Kelly, Warren, and Ferguson. He needs a flex and a trade target. So,
so I'm just going to assume this is a bog standard, like 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex type of league. So Olave and Ayuk are in your lineup. McCaffrey and Stevenson are in your lineup. Kincaid is probably your tight end. Carr, it looks like, is going to be your quarterback. Williams, I don't know if that's Jamal, Javonte, or Mike, so I'm going to need probably a first name on that one. I would say I lean towards Kelly being your flex. I'm assuming he's not going to be in your lineup anywhere else, so I would probably say Kelly is your flex, but Zay Flowers might be in that mix, and if that's Mike Williams, he would also be in that mix as well. In terms of a trade target,
consolidate.
Yeah, I would say try and consolidate a little bit. Let's say we get a big game out of Flowers again. Maybe you can use Zay Flowers and
Mike Williams.
Terry McLaurin if he does okay against Surtain, or maybe that's Jamal Williams or Javonte Williams, and they have a big game, and you can
Work
maybe
up to
get
T.
up.
Higgins.
Yeah, maybe you can get up to T. Higgins, or maybe you can get up to like Brees Hall if he has a down usage performance or something like that. So yeah, that'd probably be the trade targets I'd go after. Of course, you could just check out our trade targets videos as well.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Where do we leave off?
Still going on supers.
$2 super chat. Flex PPR Javonte or McLaurin, Javonte, JSN or Dubs. I'd go with Javonte as well. Yeah, I agree with you. Got a $1.99 super sticker from Daquan. Appreciate that. He also has a comment here that says Pirine, Hollywood, or Roshan Johnson.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I agree there, and I have Hollywood ranked lower. Next one from P. Appreciate that. He says Elijah Moore, Jahan Dotson, or Drake London, start 2, bench 1. Drake London's on my bench. I don't have to think twice about that.
Yeah, he's probably on my bench as well.
Yep. Next one from Aaron. Appreciate that. He says Mixon, Algier, Ayuk, Purdy, running back 2 and 2 flexes. So for your running back 2, I think you still got to go with Joe Mixon, given the touch workload we can expect.
If this is a super flex league and you can start Purdy, you're starting Purdy as well.
You're starting Purdy over Algier.
Yeah, well, because he says RB2 and 2 flex. So Mixon, Ayuk, and Purdy is the way that I would do this, assuming one of those is a super flex.
I agree there. $1.99 super from Brandon. Appreciate that. He says Christian Kirk, George Pickens, or Elijah Moore, start 2 PPR. At the end of the day, we have a bet. Actually, we don't have the bet on Elijah.
Well, I have Kirk and Moore as my highest.
Both over Pickens. Yes,
so it wouldn't factor into the bet. They're both over Pickens for me.
That was literally what I was about to say. Got one from Nico. Appreciate that. He says Hall, Michael Thomas, Judy Wilson, McLaurin, pick 2. I'm picking Garrett Wilson for sure. And then I'm just trying to decipher through this.
Between Jerry Jeudy and Brees Hall for the second one for me. I think I would go Jeudy just because you don't really want to overexpose yourself to the Jets, I think.
Yeah, because you're already starting Garrett Wilson. That's a good tie.
Yeah, I think I go with the 2 wideouts there, Jeudy and Wilson.
Yep. So I believe we are actually all caught up on supers. Again, Spicy can confirm with me in the private chat, but I think we're all caught up, so we can get off to the first free question of the day.
Yeah, so all the way back at 11:35 a.m., we have Leonardo here. Hey, good morning, boys. What's going on? PPR started Hurts, Addison, and Goddard. Love to see that. Says start 1, Javonte, Gibbs, Montgomery, or Kelly. Start 2 flex. Okay, so first question for me, that's Jahmyr Gibbs is where I'm going with the first question. He would be my number 1 rated running back in that question. And then start 2 flexes, MT, Dotson, Burks, Elijah, and the remaining running backs from above. So the 2 flexes would probably also be running backs. I think I would start Josh Kelly and Javonte Williams over all of those wide receiver options.
Yeah, I would as well. I would.
Definitely going to be painful if if David Montgomery punches in a couple touchdowns for you there, though.
For sure. Start sit James Conner, Josh Kelly, full PPR.
I'm going Josh Kelly there for sure.
Are we disagreeing here?
You have James Conner over Josh Kelly this week. How high do you have Josh Kelly?
I have Josh Kelly in my top 20. I have James Conner higher, dude.
You have James Conner higher than your top 20?
Why do you think he was my safe play of the week?
I mean, I have a 26. I still think he's a safe play.
Yo, that's crazy, man. He's a top 20 back for me.
That's wild.
Let's do that right now.
I mean, I love the workload, and I think that's why you're ranking him that high. Yeah. But it's still the Cardinals.
Fair, but I mean, he's an RB2. That's pretty much what his
that's
is.
fair. I mean, I have him ranked a little lower just because of his range of outcomes. I don't think he's really going to.
He's very con to me. I will say he's very con to me.
Yeah, he's very con to me. But yeah, I mean, that's not a bad take. I think I like Josh Kelly a little better, though. I think he's a better running back, and I think he's in a better offense. So I'll take Josh Kelly.
I think James Conner's the better running back.
At this point in his career, I think Josh Kelly's the better. They're both what I saw out of Josh Kelly in week 1, if he plays like that, he looked really good.
They're both pretty dust, though, like overall body of work. I will say Josh Kelly
looked good in the preseason too.
No, I will say if Josh Kelly plays like he did in week 1, I have no problem like ranking him like higher in terms of my perception of his talent. But based off what I've seen in the last couple years, it's not too much, to be honest. Got a couple supers here, including a complete bomb we'll get into in a second. First one from Josh, revised full PPR, pick 2, Allen, Waddle, Gibbs. My other running backs are Pollard and Chubb. You kind of got to sit Gibbs. I want to get Gibbs in my lineup, but your team's so fucking stacked, man. Like, enjoy.
Yeah, that's a good fucking problem to have for sure.
Another one from Jose. Appreciate that. 2 flex. Need 2. Gus Edwards, Josh Kelly, Judy, Kirk, Lazard, and Kyron Williams. It's gonna be Kelly and Judy, right? Yeah, it's gonna be Kelly and Judy.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm at as well.
And then we get into the fucking bomb by Mr. Fletsky himself. Let's have a Sunday, gents. Flet, you are fucking
Flet, I hope
madman.
you're a site subscriber for an annual membership because you just paid for one with that super chat. We love you, Flet.
We love you, brother. We love you. What a fucking bomb, bro. This guy is actually the fucking
dropping haymakers in the chat.
Fucking madman. I love it. Love it. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Matthew, super sticker, he says full PPR, 1.5 tight end premium, start 1 for last flex ball. Hunter Henry, Elijah Moore, MT. I'm going with Elijah Moore here for me.
Yeah, I'll take Elijah as well.
Tight end premium is pretty interesting, but at the end of the day, I still prefer the outlook of Elijah over Hunter.
Yeah, me too.
All right, we're caught up, and after that fucking bomb from Flet, big shout out. Not only was that a bomb, he just absolutely nuked. So I love that.
Yeah. Rolando, another start sit, full PPR. Michael Thomas, Raheem Mostert. That's Raheem Mostert pretty easily for me there, Rolando. What's up, guys? Need 2 of these guys, half PPR, Gabe Davis, Puka, and Collins. So for me, that is Gabe Davis first by a lot, and Collins would be my second guy there.
I don't agree by Gabe Davis by a lot. We have a bet on it. I mean, we have a bet on Kirk and Nico. Wait, I think
there's no point of us making a bet on this one too, because Gabe Davis is right there with Kirk for me. So
wait, was our bet Elijah versus Kirk and Gabe versus Nico, or the other way around? I forget.
It was Kirk versus Nico. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Either way, they're all like fucking relatively similar like plays for me. But
oh yeah. Appreciate the hustle. Appreciate you, Rolando. Big shout out to Rolando. I think more consultations I've done with this guy than anybody else in our audience. I think I've done like 6 or 7 with this dude. Wow. So big shout out to Rolando. And of course, if you guys have a lot of pressing fantasy questions or you play Dynasty and stuff, you can book consultations down below in the description if you want. AJ Dillon or Algier. I know Dillon is due for a lot of today, but he just doesn't. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think Dillon looks that great right now, but I'm gonna go with Dillon anyway. I think he's just the better play.
Yeah, I can't overthink that.
Gabe Davis, Scary Terry. I have Gabe Davis the highest of this. This might be a hot take, but I have Gabe Davis the highest of these 3 guys.
Yeah, that definitely is a hot take. Where do I have him ranked?
He has like wide receiver 3 usage. I don't care. In this game against the Raiders, they can't fucking stop a nosebleed. Spicy's going to be all mad in the backseat here. But Gabe, if you're going to get a 90-yard touchdown out of Gabe Davis, it's going to be this week.
Spicy just like, come on, man. We're not letting up a 90-yard touchdown. Get out of here, pal. No, I'm joking. It's actually so funny that you asked this, by the way, because I have Terry at 31, Judy at 34, and Gabe Davis at 35.
Yeah, it's funny because I have Gabe Davis at 31, Judy at 32, and McLaurin at 34. So I have him right there.
Switched. So sorry to like not provide any value there because we completely disagree on like who we're going with. Not completely because they're same range.
I mean, here's the way I look at it. Judy's coming off of an injury, and even though they said he's not going to be on a pitch count, he still presents risk. Scary Terry's got Pat Surtain, and Gabe Davis plays for the 29 implied point total of the Buffalo Bills. And if you're not starting Gabe Davis this week, when are you starting Gabe Davis?
Never. I'm kidding.
Exactly. This is what, like, you got to play Gabe Davis here. You got to, especially if you're an underdog this week and you're looking for a big ceiling game. I think.
Okay, I don't mind that. I don't mind that as an underdog, but like I can't do it.
I know nobody likes Gabe Davis's usage.
Phil, appreciate the super chat. Says half PPR, 1 flex, bench Amari, Javonte, Elijah.
Amari doesn't sound like he's going to play. So yeah, I would. If you guys have Amari Cooper, I would count on him not playing and play somebody else today.
Agreed. By the way, I'm so happy that I just grinded all my lineups when I woke up this morning. Grinded my lineups, finished my rankings for the site, and fucking I actually looked at the FFPC lineup. Did you know the guy that we're playing this week started Hawkinson against us in a tight end premium?
Yeah, I did. I did see that.
That's so fucking unlucky. Oh, we just get
I made a trade yesterday. Did you see my trade that I made?
What trade did you make?
So after like a lot of negotiations in my one Dynasty League.
Oh, the Dynasty League. Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, so the Dynasty League that I'm in, I have like a very strong team, quarterbacks, wide receivers wise. But I'm like I'm in a house money window and my team is starting to like really look good. So what I decided to do was sell my first round pick, and there's like really only one good team in this league. Everybody's kind of stuck in limbo or rebuilding. So I sold my own first round pick, which projects to be late. I sold an early second rounder and Quentin Johnston for Travis Etienne, Miles Sanders, and a early third rounder, probably the 301. Like, this guy's team is horrible. So
I dig it.
I thought that was a pretty decent, like this league for what it's worth. I think in our leagues, like leagues that me and you have with our audience, I could have gotten running back production for less than that. But this league is more of a like running backs are valuable.
And
This guy told me he thought Travis Etienne was worth 2 first-round picks, which I don't think he's worth that much.
no.
But like I value Travis Etienne as
Bro,
probably like a mid to late first and then like a mid to late second. That's probably what I think
maybe
about he's worth.
maybe right, like because like even like how many running backs are actually worth 2+ first? Like obviously Bijan Robinson, I would say Breece Hall and Jahmyr Gibbs are probably the other two, and I don't think anybody else in the dynasty landscape.
I think you can make the argument that if Jonathan Taylor came back, he would still be worth 2
Oh,
wins.
the 24-year-old running back dealing with the lower body injuries, bad Colts team in terms of.
I would still
what can
give
we
2 wins
expect?
for Jonathan Taylor if he
I would
came back
not.
today.
Unless they're like 110 to 112 maybe, and I get a pick back, sure, but I can't give up that liquidity for him at this
Yeah,
point.
no, that's fair. But anyways, now I have Javonte and Etienne to anchor my running back core. I have Sanders, I have Roschon as my backups and that kind of thing. And I literally go like 7 or 8 deep at wide receiver. I think Jahan Dotson's like my wide receiver 6.
Yep. Yeah, no, I dig that. We got another super here from Seth. He says Nico Collins, Jamal Williams, Drake London, Kenneth. Wait, what? Kyron Williams, and Dalvin Cook. It's Nico Collins. Sorry, I was just trying to like decipher the names there for a second, but it's Nico Collins for me.
Nico Collins is my 3rd highest rated player of this group.
Oh, brother,
you're just way higher on Nico Collins than I am.
He's getting a legitimate top 15.
He is. He's getting great usage, but it's still a 39-point over/under game.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm getting an alpha
and
target,
it's still CJ Stroud playing quarterback right now, which is he's
I trust CJ Stroud.
It's the 2nd NFL game for me. I would start Drake London over
I trust CJ Stroud over Desmond Ridder any day of the week.
That's fair, but I trust Drake London more than Nico Collins.
And I do too, but at the same time, in terms of their usage, like Nico Collins is
right.
Better.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think
right
it's
now.
possible that you don't want to start Drake London this week with the anticipation that the Falcons might just run all over the Packers and never throw the ball.
Yep. A free thinker, don't slam the door on the way out.
Sure.
Bye-bye. You want to spam your question in all caps all the time? Like, guess what? We're going in order anyways. So sorry about that, bud.
Facts. Okay.
Yep.
Where do we catch up here? Rolando says, appreciate the hustle. Do we have any more supers? Or are we good?
We're caught up on supers. Quick note. So this is something I quickly want to do. And then we'll quickly get back into every question. Cause again, we got to smash out a bunch before we get going. But Corey and I actually do play each other in the Tone Setter Truthers League this week. And we'll show you guys the matchup, because this is like exactly what you would call a heavyweight matchup here. So I'm on the left, Corey's on the right. So the projection right now, you're projected to win by 8 points or so. I already had the Goddard and Jalen Hurts stack playing on Thursday Night Football. But in terms of lineups, I mean, L. Jax versus Fields, Etienne, McCaffrey, Dillon, Barkley, Ridley, Chase, Olave, Adams, Goddard, Kittle, Moore, Stevenson, Mike Williams, Dotson, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk, and then obviously the quarterback battle, Hurts and Purdy. Like, I honestly think we have the 2 best teams in the league, to be honest.
I do as well. And I actually might make a lineup decision right now because I think I want to start Hollywood Brown over Dotson.
Go for it, bro. Be my guest.
That's close, though.
Hey, be my guest, bro. I mean,
nah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Dotson in there. I'll stick with Dotson.
Fuck.
I'll take Surtain. I'll take the Surtain narrative. And go with Dotson there.
Fair. Here, so we got a super here from Ethan. Appreciate that. He says pick 1 wide receiver and 2 flex: London, Elijah Moore, Nakua, Brian Robinson, and Akers. I would probably go with the first 3 wide receivers, to be honest. In a PPR,
I would play Brian Robinson over Nakua.
Over Nakua, eh? In a PPR,
yeah, I would. I am. I'm not high on Nakua this week.
He's like my wide receiver 36, so I'm not
I meant
too
like
high
40
on him either.
Like I'm not. He's outside my top 40 for me.
I gotta take Nakua here. I'm gonna go with those 3, and then Corey's gonna go with Brian Robinson. So either way, what you take out of that is that London and Elijah Moore are in your lineup, and then depending on who you want to play between Nakua and Brian Robinson, that's where we would lean.
Yeah. So also, James just outlined favorite props. I just want to showcase those real quick, and then we'll get back to the questions. So, obviously, big shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FSC for 100% back up to $100. And also, if you guys intend on betting on the NFL games today, check out Elite Picks. Link down below in the description for that 7-day free trial from pro sports bettors. But this is the slip that I kind of just built out. So we have another boosted pick'em slip here with Christian McCaffrey over a half a total yard. I like Isaiah Pacheco to get into the end zone today, so I like the fantasy points there. Christian Kirk, I've talked about being high on all week. 41.5 receiving yards seems like a good number there. And then Gus Edwards, I think the Cincinnati-Baltimore game will be a little lower scoring. I think they're going to have to rely on the run. So give me more than 9 rushing attempts for Gus Edwards there. And then Jamar Chase wipes his ass with the Baltimore Ravens every time he plays them. So give me him getting into the end zone. And they also, for what it's worth, too, have new users a mystery pick'em number every single week. So if you can't use the Christian McCaffrey one for whatever reason, this one will be the new customer special this week, the Joe Burrow higher than half a total yard. So, I mean, if you put $10 on this and you guys want to tail it, you can win up to 20 times your money. That pays $200 on a $10 slip there. So big shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Definitely check them out if you guys haven't already done so. And of course, if you do sign up on Underdog Fantasy, you will get our weekly rankings for free, and you'll get all of our, Vegas stuff that we make reference to. You'll get all of the matchup charts and all that good stuff. So big shout out to Underdog. They are obviously a big sponsor of this channel. So you have any super chats left, or can I go back?
We got a few quickly. So the first one here from Anu. Appreciate that. He says trade Brees Hall and Jameson Williams for James Conner, DJ Moore. No. Do not do that, in my opinion.
No, I want Brees there. I mean, Jameson Williams isn't really worth anything, but I think Brees is worth that package himself.
Yep. Another one from Purdy. One flex.
He had another question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Thoughts on Connor and Moore rest of season? I mean, Connor to me is a sell high if he has like a couple touchdowns in a game. Like realistically, this would be the game.
He's a short-term hold and then eventual sell high is the way I would kind of talk about him. And then DJ Moore honestly might be the same thing, because right now you kind of need to hold him because he had a bad week 1, but he could have a good game this week against the Buccaneers, and I wouldn't be opposed to selling him after a big game, especially if we see another game where Fields actually airs it out more than like 30 times or whatever. I will say like DJ Moore can be an every week wide receiver too, if we're getting a decent amount of pass attempts from this Bears offense, which in week 1 we did. It was a blowout, but even in blowouts last year, they were never throwing the ball. Like even when they were getting destroyed last year, they were still only throwing like 20 times a game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Purdy season, appreciate that. He says one flex, Judy, Javonte, Mostert, Collins, Kirk, half PPR. I'm leaning Javonte Williams here.
I got Mostert higher, so I'm going Mostert.
Fair enough. So between Javonte and Mostert, whichever running back you feel more comfortable with there, Purdy. Appreciate the super. We got another one from Dookie Darts. Appreciate that. He says full PPR Collins or Josh Kelly expected to lose by 5 thanks to Cousins. I'd go with Joshua Kelly here, even though I like Collins.
Yeah, no, I'm going Kelly. I think he's the safe play and the ceiling play with you being down.
For sure. So we're all caught up on supers right now. Again, apologies for, if you guys asked your question a while ago. We're trying to speed up and get to as many as possible right now.
Yeah, we're back to 11:36 a.m. right now. So hopefully we can get to at least 12 p.m. by the end of this stream, because we want to reward those of you guys that are getting in here early. But Brock says, hey, guys, start 2, full PPR, London, Judy, Burks, Javonte. So for me, this is Judy. And are you going both Broncos? Because that's who I have rated highest.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah, let's do it. Michael says PPR will pick 1 for the flex. ETN, don't need to hear anything else. Travis Etienne's in your lineup. With Aaron Jones and Deontay Johnson out, I think there's an actual debate. There is not. Travis Etienne is in a 52-point over-under game.
This might be a bold prediction, but I think Travis Etienne, if he shows the same type of usage that he showed last week, could be viewed as a fringe top 5 running back rest of the season. Like, I think it's a real possibility. We're debating like him versus Nick Chubb after this week.
Oh, I hope so, dude. I got 14% Travis Etienne on Best Ball Mania 4. So far, I will say, like, I don't want to jinx anything other than the J.K. Dobbins injury last week. Like, my portfolio is looking pretty good. Like, as far as the guys that I was fading, like Cooper Kupp and guys like that, and then the guys that I was really in on, performing at a high level. And even some of my sleepers, like, I mean, Roshan Johnson's been doing well. Gus Edwards is my highest owned running back, not named Brees Hall. So other than Brees losing Aaron Rodgers and J.K. Dobbins being out for the season, and even that take, like, I had a lot of Gus Edwards anyway, so that kind of worked out for me. I'm feeling pretty good about my Best Ball Mania portfolio. I'm actually advancing 41 of my 150 right now. So that's a pretty high advance rate. We're talking like nearly 30%, which is, 14% above expectation.
It's week 1. Let's just
I know, but I'm saying so far it's looking good.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'll be happy, but come week 15, like, people are gonna start getting
the players are we're gonna get decimated with injuries eventually. So
Jalal, by the way, quick note, Jalal, I do see that you have a super sticker here. If you have a question, feel free to drop it and I'll just skip the line for you.
Brock also says start 1 full PPR. I'm also starting DK. So do we want to go with the double Seahawks wide receivers, or we want to start Josh Kelly? Because I think I would go Josh Kelly here.
I'd go Lockett, to be honest.
Really?
But, I mean, I guess I guess if you have DK, yeah, I don't actually mind that because you don't want to go full in on the Seahawks offense in case, let's just say, hypothetically, the tackles being out completely obliterates the line. Gino gets sacked, and you don't want to have, two horses in that race, hypothetically. Not to mention, I mean, we kind of talk about this at the running back position a little bit, but like if you're starting Algier and Bijan, you're kind of limiting your own upside. I don't think it applies as much to it as at wide receiver as it does running back, but the same theory kind of applies where if you start DK Metcalf, like you don't want Tyler Lockett getting the long bombs because you want that to go to DK Metcalf. So it's kind of like a rooting interest type of thing. Obviously, at the end of the day,
They're
what we
both
said
good
are
plays. You could start
yeah,
them both, and if they combine for 45 points and Lockett got 30 of those and Metcalf got
for sure.
15 or vice versa, it's not really going to matter.
If
But
if I didn't have as
if
many
Metcalf has a 30-point game and Kelly has a 25-point game, then you can get access to
uh,
that ceiling that way.
for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, Scott. Actually, I missed your super. I know you commented in the chat, so my apologies. He says Scott. He says Scott. Scott says want to play Zay Jones, but looks like terrible weather. Other options are Drake London, Elijah Moore, Khalil Herbert, full PPR. Appreciate y'all. Give me Elijah Moore all day, every day.
Yeah, I
Twice
wouldn't
on
say the
Sundays.
weather's going to be terrible. I saw that it's supposed to rain a little bit in that game, but I think it's supposed to clear up at some point. Whether I can't remember if it's in the first half that it's going to be clear or the second half that it's going to be clear, but it only looks like it's going to rain for half the game, unless I'm wrong. Like I'm pretty sure that's what the weather forecast said today for that Jaguars and Chiefs game. I also saw a forecast saying that the Bucks and Bears game would have some weather maybe early on in the first quarter or so as well.
Yeah, for sure. Jalel says full PPR. Who would you flex? Dubs, Dotson, Hollywood, Brian Robinson. I would go with Dotson here personally.
I would go with I literally just made this decision, so I would go with Dotson as well. But it would be between those two guys, Dotson and Hollywood.
Fuck you just heard me play my cards against myself.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you got to go with McLaurin potentially locked up by Surtain. You kind of have to go Dotson. This is a prototype Dotson game
for sure. Obsessed with success. Appreciate the super chat. He says Brees, Gibson, Roschon, Damien Harris. But y'all play Roschon if Brees still questionable by 12. Brees is gonna play.
Yeah, no,
he's technically listed as questionable. He's
are they playing at 4?
4:30. Yeah, he's gonna play.
Yeah, I'm still playing. I'm still playing Brees Hall regardless.
Why is he listed as Q? Did he miss practice or something?
I think he's just limited in practice. They listed him as Q because he's still coming back slowly, but I wouldn't be too concerned with Brees Hall.
Yeah, there's nothing that indicates he won't play, so I'm just gonna play him over those options personally. I got another super here from Seth T. Lockett, Javonte Williams, Puka, and James Cook in a full PPR. At this point, I'm gonna go with Tyler Lockett in a PPR, to be honest.
Yeah, I would as well. James Cook is really close there, though. I think I have James Cook inside my top 14 running backs.
I didn't even see James Cook, man.
That's close, man.
Give me James Cook, man. Fuck it. Give me James Cook. I have him ranked literally, I think, as my RB10 this week.
Yeah, I have him high, dude. He was my start of the week in the running back tier list video. So, I think you got to go with the Bills implied point total, man. If you told me that we're getting 29 points from the Buffalo Bills offense, I'd be stunned if James Cook doesn't have at least a 15 PPR point per game performance. If not, punch in a touchdown or two, or break off a long run or something. Sorry, Spicy. I think they're going to get dusted by the Bills. I think Josh Allen's going to take his anger out today.
Man, I didn't even see James Cook. That's why I got so excited.
I know, he snuck him right in there at the end.
Because I was so confident. I'm like, oh, yeah, Lockett versus Javonte. It's close. I'll go Lockett. And I see James Cook at the end there. I literally have him as my RB11 this week. Love James Cook. I love myself some James Cook. So you have where we are. I'm going to keep an eye on the sleepers, and let's try to speed through as many as we can.
So we already got that. Not one. Mo says Freiermuth is my tight end one, but I picked up Juwan Johnson for my bench. Would you drop him for Kendrick Bourne?
Yes.
Yeah, I would rather roster Kendrick Bourne than Juwan Johnson. I think Freiermuth is a good enough tight end to roll with week over week. He also says only tight end out there is Ertz, and someone dropped Ferguson today. I mean, those guys are fine options, but I would rather have Freiermuth, to be honest. And also roll with Browns D or Broncos D. So the Browns are they're on the road, I think. Are they on the road against Pittsburgh?
The Browns
are. They're on the road against Pittsburgh. They're 2.5 point favorites. The Broncos defense is at home versus Sam Howell. I think I got Broncos D there.
Bush, I'm so shocked that you waited a while to say that James Cook was your start in that last super, because he is your going nuts pick of the week.
He is. Now, hopefully, the going nuts pick of the week doesn't tear his Achilles like I did. J.K. Dobbins was my going nuts pick last week. So apologies if you guys have James Cook, because I might be doing some witchcraft on him right now. by making it my going nuts pick, presented by Manscaped. Of course, use promo code Bush for 20% off plus free shipping. But for me, James Cook, again, the way that going nuts works, if you guys think that's an onion hanger and it hits, he needs to get 20 plus PPR points per game for it to hit and me to get the points. So do you think that's a likely scenario, in which case you'd give me 1 point if it happens? Do you think it's like moderately likely 2 points if it happens? Or it's like,
You're
super
nuts.
unlikely of happening and I get 3 points if it does happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. James Cook going for 20 plus PPR points per game today against the Las Vegas Raiders as my going nuts pick of the week.
Yep, and tailing right off of that, my going nuts pick of the week is going to be Deebo Samuel, wide receiver of the San Francisco 49ers. We saw obviously his counterpart with Brandon Ayuk literally hit this threshold last week, 32 PPR points from Brandon Ayuk in that game against the Steelers. When we're looking at this game, it's just absolutely juicy from an environment standpoint. 49ers are implied for, I think, one of the top 5 team totals in the entire week. We obviously saw what Brandon Ayuk was able to do, establishing himself as the one. I honestly think this is just a fluid situation, basically based on matchups. Last week, obviously, it was Brandon Ayuk. This week, it could be George Kittle, but I do think it's actually going to be Deebo Samuel. He can contribute in both ways. He's going to be able to command a high target share. Obviously, the design touches out of the back that they're going to help as well. I think that he can get legitimately 12-ish, 13-ish opportunities in this game and absolutely smash, therefore being my going nuts pick of the week.
Yeah, so let Danny know down below what you guys think of his going nuts pick. Is that a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer, or a 1-pointer? 1-pointer being that's a lock of happening. A lot of people saying we got 2 3s in the chat so far on Deebo Samuel. I think that's a 2 personally, but
I'll take it.
I think we let the audience decide here. So it looks like they gave me a 2-pointer for a James Cook pick and a 3-pointer for Deebo Samuel here. From what I'm seeing.
Yep, sounds good. Shout out, by the way, Andrew in the chat for reminding me to go through the going nuts, because I completely forgot when we even talked about James Cook. So I'm like, I may as well bring this back up. So I appreciate that. Got a couple more supers here if I can find them. So the first one here from Hector. Good morning. Pick one flex spot. Zay Jones, Godwin, Hollywood Brown, Gus Edwards starting. Wide receivers are Deebo and Olave. Thanks. Out of these flex players,
I have Godwin even higher than I have Deebo in my rankings. So Godwin would be
wow.
Yeah.
Where do you have Deebo ranked?
Dude, the Bears secondary sucks. Like, I think Godwin and Edmonds could have nice games today for sure.
It does, but where do you have Deebo ranked?
I have Deebo at 19, Godwin at 18.
Okay, I have Godwin at 22, Deebo at 17.
Yeah.
So that's a little difference there, but yeah, with that being said, we both agree on Godwin there, Hector. Got another super here from Andrew. If you have a comment, feel free to leave it. Spicy, keep an eye on that if you can. Both Andrew and Juan sent super stickers, so if you can find those, please let us know. But the next super chat here is going to come from Ander from Mexico. I just see it's donated in pesos, so appreciate that. He says Kincaid, Pitts, or Musgrave for tight end. Also Pickens or JSN for wide receiver, PPR league. In terms of the tight end, I think it's got to be Kyle Pitts still. Like, I'm trusting the process. I understand that he probably burned you last week if you had him in your game, but realistically, the Falcons.
For what it's worth, he was still like a top tight end because no tight ends performed last week.
That's rare. Yeah, no, I'd go with Kyle Pitts. In terms of the second question, who do I have? I have George Pickens ranked higher with Deontay.
I would start. I have JSN a little bit lower. I have JSN a little bit lower than George Pickens, but I don't think it's outrageous to just start JSN. And I'm actually going to make the move on the fly right now and put JSN over him.
Yep. Wow. I mean, I would go with Pickens, but I don't mind that. So
this could be the Jackson Smith and Jigba coming out party today. I think we might be getting the JSN game.
I hope so. So where Spicy said they commented. Okay, perfect. I have it in the private chat. So I can't pull the question up right now because I can't find it. But the first one from Andrew says that in a half PPR start to Jahan Dotson, Elijah Moore, Marquise Brown, or Drake London. I would go with Jahan Dotson and Elijah Moore there personally.
I would take Marquise over Elijah Moore, but that would be
really.
Yeah, it would be Dotson and Marquise for me there.
Even with Amari expected out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. Juan, what's up, boys? Pacheco, Javonte, Brees, Kelly, Puka, Flowers. Need 2 at running back and 1 at flex. Your running backs there, in my opinion, are probably going to be Javonte and Josh Kelly. And your flex is going to be, I think I have Flowers. Yeah, I would take Flowers over Brees personally this week. I just don't like the outlook of the Jets offense in that game.
Yeah. Also, I can smell Maria's making butternut squash soup right now.
He's a soup guy. He's a soup guy.
I'm a big soup guy, dude. We're in soup season right now. It is soup season. And she actually said to me the other day before Thursday Night Football, I was going to St. Louis to watch the game. And she was like, "Do you want to watch the game together?" And I'm like, "I'll do
I
you
can
one
make you
better. You
soup.
want to watch the games with me on 1 p.m. on Sunday?" That would be elite. So we're gonna have some soup and some football this afternoon. It's gonna be fun.
Hey, do you want to watch the Thursday night game? I can make you some soup.
Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel like for somebody who doesn't watch football, it's way easier to watch the red zone than it is to watch an actual game
Oh yeah,
because there's commercials and you lose focus and that
and
kind
you're
of
just
thing.
seeing the
So,
big plays. You're just seeing the
yeah,
big
you're just
plays.
seeing the fun stuff. So I think red zone is definitely more entertaining for somebody who doesn't
Oh yeah.
traditionally watch football.
Yep, and then the other one here from MC7, full PPR, Pitts or Shaheed in my second flex. Give me Pitts. Give me Pitts. But we are caught up on those ones. We might have a couple here. Let me just take a look. Okay, the Barber's brand, pick 2, Algier, Esmore, Drake London. I don't know what
I think that's Rashid Shaheed, maybe.
I
And
Algier and
Quentin
London.
Johnston, I'm guessing, is the other one. I
Algier
think
and
that's
London
probably
probably.
Raheed Shaheed. I think.
Algier and London probably.
Yeah, I'll start the two Falcons there.
Big shout out to Fantasyland coming in the chat. Good luck this week, gang. Appreciate you guys. Great work over there with Zach and Badake. So make sure you guys go check them out as well. If you haven't already, obviously you guys probably have if you've been following the channel. Chris, appreciate the super chat. He says full PPR. Should I flex Mostert, Brees, Javonte, or McLaurin this week? I have Javonte ranked the highest. Corey has Mostert ranked the highest. Just at the end of the day, pick your flavor between those two. But it'd be between Javonte and Mostert in our rankings.
Yeah, I have Mostert and Javonte ranked the highest there.
Yeah, he needs one. I have Javonte higher. You have Mostert higher.
I have Mostert
pick between
higher,
which one.
So.
What did he just say? Another super here from Luke. DPJ or tanked out. Also Hurst, Komet, or Schultz half PPR. I mean, I'm going to go with Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's expected that Amari Cooper is going to be out. Obviously, you don't know until game time, but realistically, even if Amari Cooper plays and he's like limited and he plays like 50% of the snaps, like Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to have a role in this game. Obviously, a disappointing output game in week 1, but I do think he can bounce back this week on Monday night.
Yeah, I'd go DPJ, and then I would go with Komet of those tight end options. To be honest, the Bucs are not really good at defending tight ends, and I think the middle of the field will be probably wide. If Devin White plays how Devin White normally plays in coverage, we're gonna get a good Cole Komet game. Let me ask you a question here. In our listener league, I already had Swift play, so I'm up like 30 points right now. But I have a start-sit decision in my flex with Gus Edwards versus Cortland Sutton.
Cortland probably in a PPR.
Yeah, you go Cortland over, especially
full
if you're
PPR?
up.
Yeah.
Full PPR with big play bonuses, and I'm already up 30 points because of
Swift. Play it safe there. There's no need to force Gus Edwards, and then he has. Like,
I don't know why I had Edwards in my flex there for a while.
I'm just so glad I said all of my lineups. I do not have to worry about that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to go through the questions remaining because I did not set all my lineups. Yeah,
so we got some supers here quickly. So the second part of the question is Hurst, Komet, or
just got big some news here. Cam Akers to be deactivated for week 2. Could be on the trade block.
Who's trading for Cam Akers?
Probably nobody, but that does make Kyron Williams a little bit more interesting. I would say.
No, it does. I just find that hilarious because, like, what are you trading Cam Akers for? Like, you're trading him in a 7th for a 6th?
Yeah, probably. Also, if you guys have an open bench spot, maybe stash Zach Evans at the end of your roster just in case.
I don't mind that call.
Going into this game because he might be a big waiver ad after this week.
Real quick, Hurst, Komet, or Schultz if you had to pick one.
Komet.
Let me check if I agree here. Hurst, Komet, and Schultz. Where do I have Komet buried. I would actually go with Schultz. Dude, I have Schultz at 18, Hurst at 19, and Komet at 20. Are we fucking for real?
Yeah,
I have Schultz the highest,
there's potential weather in that Bears-Bucks game, so if you wanted to lean towards Schultz for that reason, then I wouldn't mind it.
Yep. Got another super here from Quit. Pick 3 PPR, Bateman, OBJ, Engram, Atwell, Kirk, Shaheed. So Kirk sticks out like a sore thumb. He's got to be in your lineup here.
Yeah. Also, are you going Elijah Moore over Brian Robinson this week?
Yes. In a PPR?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I'm doing as well. Even if you're already starting in Njoku?
Yeah. I think Elijah Moore's going to smash, assuming Amari's out.
My Devi Disciples team, dude, it's like
I won week 1.
Like kind of frisky, but my Devi team specifically is disgusting. Like my Devi, the 6 players I have that are still in college, like, dude, Shadur Sanders, KJ Jefferson, Jackson Dart, all 3 of those quarterbacks have gotten out to good starts. Emeka Egbuka, Malik Neighbors went for like 250 yards yesterday, and Jatavian Sanders has been really good at tight end this year for Texas.
I'm probably going to go 2-0 after this week, and I have an extra first. I don't know what a Devy first is, but I somehow got an extra 2024 first, and my Devies are fucking filthy. But let's answer these supers quick because obviously, you know, there is 8 minutes till game time. Kirk is the number one here. I'm probably going Engram as well, given the game total in that game. Very, very high over-under. And then I'm probably going with Odell Beckham Jr. Until I see Rashad Bateman supplant Odell Beckham Jr. in terms of the routes, you have to start Odell over him because it's just the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm on the same page there as well.
Got another super share from Hunter. Appreciate that. Gibson or Roschon for my RB2, Terry McLaurin or Judy. I would actually go with Roschon over Gibson, to be honest. I feel more comfortable about his workload than I do Gibson's, oddly enough, which is gross to say given how high I was on Gibson coming into the year. And then Terry McLaurin versus Judy. I believe I have Terry a couple spots higher.
Oh, I'm taking Judy. I'm not fucking with Surtain.
Fair. No, that's also a good process play. It's also a good process.
Yeah. Also, Danny, can you buy some production off of my team on my my listener league team? Because I have all these wide receivers and I'm gonna luck into some wins and I don't want to.
Just a moment. Scott's comment here was Musgrave or Laporta PPR. He also has Hurts on the wire. I would go with Laporta over Musgrave. I actually had to make that exact decision in my home league. Andrew, Spicy actually messaged us in the private chat to get through them. So that's why I haven't showed them on the screen, but I've been reading them out. But appreciate that. So we got one here. Michael, Pitts or Ertz full PPR watching from Tampa. Let's fucking go. Yeah, big Bucks fan there. Go with Kyle Pitts there, Michael.
Yeah, I'm not gonna know. I would go with Kyle Pitts as well, but I'm not gonna know what to do with myself if the Bucks are 2-0 after this week. I'm gonna be like, what are we doing here?
Hey, if the Cowboys and Bucks are 2-0 after this week, we could celebrate together the fact that we're both big Super Bowl contenders. You know,
dude. If Baker's actually good, I will be stunned.
Yeah, for real. Snoopy, appreciate that. PPR pick one, Elijah Moore, Kyron, Nico, or Judy. Thanks, boys. I just recently moved Elijah Moore to the highest of this group. With Amari Cooper expected out, I think he's going to have a nice game on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think I agree there as well.
User. It says we got another super sticker. It's not showing up. I think we got off to all of them. Again, Spicy, correct us if we haven't, but we'll rip through as many comments now as possible to, show appreciation to the people that have been here basically all stream, because our apologies, we've gotten a lot of supers, 49 supers today, so appreciate you guys for the consistent support as always. But for those of you who have been in basically asking questions, it's 12:30, 12:40, we want to make sure you guys are covered, because that's some loyalty right there.
Yeah. So am I going back to the top?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll keep an eye on the bottom.
Okay, so we got Bailey says full PPR tight end premium need 3, 1 running back, 2 flex, Mixon, Hall, Jamal Williams, Michael Thomas, Mostert, B-Rob, Sutton, Freiermuth, and Hollywood. So he needs 3, 1 running back. So the running back for me is Mostert, and the 2 flexes are Hollywood.
Mostert
Brown.
Over Mixon.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even see Mixon's name. Sorry, Mixon's the running back. Mostert and Hollywood would be the flexes for me.
Yeah,
Hollywood versus Hall is close, but that's probably where I'd be going.
I'm debating Hollywood versus MT and Sutton.
What?
Be honest.
You're going those guys over Hall?
I'm probably going. Hall, Brees. I didn't even see Brees. I thought you were talking about Hollywood.
No, Hollywood versus Hall is the decision point for me, because Mostert and Mixon are in the lineup.
Yeah. Barbers, when did you ask? You asked 2? No, we answered your question, Barbers.
Yeah, we did answer your question. Go back to it real quick. We'll just answer it again.
We answered all these questions, so apologies if you missed it, but we can. Yeah, that is weird. Scott, who it was Barbers.
I got it here. Pick 2, Algier, Sky Moore, Drake London.
We answered this.
Yeah, 100%.
We said
Algier. We said the 2 Falcons, Algier and Drake London was where we would go with this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is weird. And so he said that. And Scott, we also got to yours as well. We didn't actually show it on the screen because it was the super sticker and we couldn't find the actual comment. But Spicy in the background, bless us. Yeah, you asked Musgrave or Laporta, and we said Laporta.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure you guys didn't miss it. Didn't want to miss.
Yeah.
Sure
Okay. So let me spam a couple questions. I'm not even going to read them out. I'm just going to give answers. Okay.
Yep.
So we got James here. That is the 2 Chargers for me.
Yeah, Kelly and Mike.
That is Mostert and Hall for me, Justin.
Jason Herbert.
This is
Everything's-
Elijah Moore and Christian Kirk for me, Omar.
I will say real quick, if Zay Jones out snaps and out targets Christian Kirk again, I think we have to make that
Yeah.
adjustment.
Oh, yeah. We'll make that transition, but I'm not going to overreact to week 1.
I agree.
You're saying I would go with the ACL bros here, Justin.
Yep. Yeah.
How would we rank Brees, Javonte Kelly? So I would rank
Javonte, Kelly, Pittman, Brees.
I would rank Kelly, Javonte, Pittman, Brees.
Okay.
James Cook there, Matt, and then Freiermuth over Henry.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon, Barkley.
Barkley.
Kelly.
What?
Yeah, Barkley,
Dylan, Kelly.
These guys for sure. I would rank this Barkley, Dylan, Kelly.
Barkley, Dylan, Kelly.
Yeah, it's like Barkley, Dylan, Kelly for me. It'd be like closer. We already went over our favorite props. Definitely tail those if you guys want to check them out.
Evans.
Pittman or Mike Evans. I would go with this. Do you have a preference here? I think I'm going Evans here.
Evans, all day.
Tyler Lockett there, Mitchell.
Lockett.
Elijah Moore asked this question in the form of a super, but I would go with Elijah Moore.
We got a quick super here from Bernard. Kyron is RB1 for the Rams. Yeah, with Cam Akers deactivated on the trade block, I do think that Kyron Williams, I mean, at least for the short term, should be the RB1, but I do think that Zach Evans could work into the mix, like Corey said. So if he's available and you're in a deeper league, I don't mind stashing Evans. But
so Kyron Williams, I'm going to move him up in my rankings right now. Would you rather start Kyron Williams or Tyler Algier this week?
Algier.
Kyron Williams or Jamal Williams?
Jamal slightly.
Okay, I put him ahead of Jamal Williams. That's where I would put him.
So you have him about like 30, 31?
So if you guys
I'm at 33.
Kyron, I have him over Jamal Williams, Roshan Johnson, Gus Edwards, Antonio Gibson, Justice Hill, the Colts running backs, but I wouldn't be starting Kyron Williams over, Brian Robinson or Miles Sanders or anything.
Bernard, start Kyron over Roshan, yes.
Yeah, agreed.
So you got where we left off. Let's bang through.
I mean, it's 12:59 p.m. right now, so I think we're probably done here. But
appreciate you guys who've been around for the entire an hour and 10, an hour 11 minutes or so of the stream. And our apologies if we did not get to your question. Again, the easiest way to get your question answered right off the bat is we have a Saturday live stream every single week at noon for our Flock Fantasy subscribers. If you use promo code FSC, you'll have access to that live stream every single week. And instead of paying,
there's like 10 to 20 people in there. Like we get in-depth answers on all of your questions. We go back and forth on all of your answers and that kind of thing. So if you want your questions answered a lot more in depth than we can do here, even those of you guys are super chatting, we can't go super in depth on you. Definitely check out the site, and obviously it'll save you some cash too. Like our site subscription for a monthly sub with our promo code is like $13 a month. That's like, less than like a super chat. That's like a $2 super chat a week or a $3 super chat a week, basically. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you guys want to check it out, of course, check out our sponsors, Underdog Fantasy, Elite Picks. If you guys are making some bets on today's game, they are definitely the best place to go to. And you can use our link for a 7-day free trial to get your sports picks from pro bettors, guys that actually know what the fuck they're doing, unlike us. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. Enjoy the games. Good luck. Hopefully there's some good health for everybody's fantasy teams and no J.K. Dobbins Achilles tear type situations this week.
Man, a quick note, I did lose him in my home league, so that did pain. The one home league, the one I commish, because I know you always get on me for
uses
that.
the word home league for like 4 different leagues. And I always get on him about that.
I refer to it as.
Yeah. Anyways, peace out, fellas. Good luck today.
See ya.